Hello and welcome back to our next Project Zomboid tutorial. Today's tutorial is going to be on cooking. This necessarily isn't a Hydrocraft thing per se, but Hydrocraft does add some extra functions to the Project Zomboid mod. So today the Project Zomboid game. Today we're going to do a few things. We're going to boil some water, and we're going to cook a few items of food. I've got a hash brown here that I've made from some potatoes, and we've got some soup. So the first thing you need to cook are cooking items. A baking tray for which you can preserve food, we'll do that. Frying pans can also be used to make stir fries, we're going to do that as well. And finally we're going to use a roasting pan, which is very similar. I've got one here. Unfortunately we're full up. Just a second. Grab some planks which we picked up from our last tutorial. So with these items in your inventory, so some food, we've got carrots, we've got potato, and we've got broccoli. We right click on the frying pan and we can make a stir fry from tomato. Now thankfully our character's a better cook than I am in real life, and he will prepare a stir fry, and the hunger return that you get and the more so the happiness boost is dependent on your cooking skill. So my cooking skill is nearly level 5. Not great, but we can add 3 items to a stir fry without getting a happiness penalty. So the way that this works, the more items of the same type that you add to the stir fry, the less happiness boost. You can see that I'm not getting a boost there. That's okay. We have soup for that. If you create a stir fry from a few different items, and you basically make a mix of items, you'll create a vegetable stir fry and you get a happiness boost. So we're going to try and create one without adding too much of the same ingredients. In our roasting pan we're going to add 2 tomatoes. So I know for a fact that with the level 5 cooking skill, if I add 2 tomatoes rather than 3, I'll retain a small boost to happiness. So boredom -5, unhappiness -5. We're now going to add 2 carrots. And you can see here we now have a boredom bonus of -10 and unhappiness of -10. So our boredom and unhappiness will decrease. It will increase more so when we cook it. So that's uncooked. Now what we're placing these items of food in is a campfire. A campfire can be made with 2 planks. Now if you remember from our previous episode, the weapons crafting, I did explain to you how to get planks. You chop down a tree with a saw you chop down a tree with an axe, which we have in our inventory here. And then you saw the planks, the logs into planks using a saw, which we have here. When you have 2 planks and also some rip sheets, again in our last episode I showed you how to get rip sheets. You can kill zombies and tear up their clothes. Right click on this and you'll have the option to make a campfire. You can also use several other items, but as I mentioned in my last episode, rip sheets are always the way to go because you can get heaps. So I don't have any rip sheets in my inventory. So we're going to get some and I'll show you what it looks like. So I believe just 1 is enough, but we'll just grab 3. Right click and we have the option to make a campfire kit. So the ingredients for the campfire kit are 3 planks, basically 1 log. And then you need some kindling for your campfire. You can use either ripped sheets, a sheet, a book, magazine, newspaper or twig. So kindling of some sort. Planks and kindling. Rip sheets are a winner because we can get heaps of them. I'm not going to create that because we have one here. The campfire is essentially a container. We place whatever we want to cook into that container, and then we can light the fire. So in our campfire we have some kettles. The kettles are full of water. So water in the Project Zomboid game, when the water runs out, which happens in the second or third month, depending, or it can also happen on the first day, it just depends on luck. It can run out anytime, and you need to either be near a stream or water source, or have a water collector barrel, which is, the water collector barrel is what we've got here. I'll go into making these in the carpentry episode, but suffice to say, with a certain carpentry level, you make one of these barrels using some wood and a couple of garbage bags, and it will collect water for you. Every time it rains, this will fill up. So to boil water, we get a container. I don't have one because I believe they're all... Let's grab one. So we have a clay teapot. Now, if you watched my last episode, you would have found out how to actually create these. We'll tip the clay teapot into our canteen. And looks like we've... That's a shame. Anyway, for the purpose of demonstration, I'll tip it out. Right click on our rain collector barrel, and you can see how it's 100% full. Rain collector barrel, it'll give you a status update, and every item that you can fill with water will be listed underneath. So in our case, we have a clay teapot, filled clay teapot. You can see the teapot filling up, and that's now full of tainted water. If we drink that, it'll make us sick. I don't think it'll kill you, but it will make you sick. So we now have a container in the fire. We have pots of water, we have kettles, and we have our roasted vegetables and our vegetable stir fry. I've also made a vegetable soup, so I'm going to show you how to make that as well. We're going to... I'm going to just drink this soup, since our character's hungry anyway. There we go. So, to make soup, you need a pot, which we have here. We've now eaten the soup and we're left with an empty pot. You fill it with water. So you only need a little bit of water in it. We're just going to just quickly fill a teeny tiny bit of water. We now have a pot of water. Right click on the pot of water and you can create a soup or a stew. We're going to make a stew. The process is the same for a soup or a stew. And we're going to add some tomato. So this is a good way to get more out of your food. We'll add 2 items of tomato. We're going to add 2 items of carrots. And then 2 potatoes. By adding different ingredients, we boost our unhappiness. Our happiness modifier. So we now have our soup ready to go. We'll pop this in here. Now, because we use tainted water, unboiled water, that soup's dangerous to eat. We can't eat that. To light the fire, we can use a match and some rip sheets. You can see here, a lighter and some rip sheets. Again, just kill a zombie and click on their clothes and tear into sheets. The better option is to use a wooden plank and sturdy stick. So this basically just allows you to create a fire by rubbing sticks together. A notched wooden plank is made by having a knife in your inventory, which we have here, a kitchen knife. Right clicking on a plank and you'll have the option to make, a drill plank. And that'll make a notched wooden plank. Then, the next thing that you need to do is to make the other stick to rub against the notched wooden plank, which is a sturdy stick, with a saw in your inventory, so which we have here. Again, if you remember the first episode of my tutorial series, you'll find a saw in a warehouse or in any storage area where there's metal crates or wooden crates. Right click on a plank and you'll have the option to make sturdy stick. So sturdy sticks can be used to rub against the other notched wooden plank in order to light the fire. So the reason why we're going to do that is so that we don't waste our fuel, our lighter fuel, which we don't have a lot. First thing we need to do is add some fuel. So again, our hero here is rip sheets. I have over 100 in this box, and we can easily get that again from killing zombies. I always make sure that I've got plenty of sheets, so add fuel, rip sheets. Rip sheets are the least valuable fuel. They make the fire run for the least amount of time, but because we have lots, we can just keep adding them. So once you've added a few items of fuel to the fire, you'll have the option to light the fire. You can light the fire using matches and a rip sheet, or matches and any ignition source such as paper or twigs. What we need to do now is grab some sturdy sticks. And with sturdy sticks and a notched wooden plank in our inventory, which we don't have for some reason. There we go. So a notched wooden plank and sturdy sticks. Right click on the fire and you'll have the option to light the fire using a notched wooden plank and sturdy stick. We'll do that now. Now this makes the character tired, obviously. In fact, we might actually pause that because I just realised there's one other item I wanted to show you. And that is how to make preserved food. So to make preserved food, you need a baking tray. We have 2. And you need a knife to slice up the food. And you need a food that can be dried. So the most commonly used one is tomatoes. I'm going to go and get some more. Because you can dry tomato slices. You can't dry much else, but you can dry tomato slices. You can also do this for other foods such as apples, or you can do it for strawberries as well. But the thing you need is, I tend to do it for tomatoes because they're easy to grow, and you can grow big amounts of them. I have plenty of tomatoes here, so it's going to be good to actually do this before they run out of. So we have a salt shaker. Going to grab that. So to preserve the food, you need a baking tray, food that can be dried, such as our tomatoes, a salt shaker to salt the food, and a knife to chop the food into slices. You can right click on any of those items and you'll have the option to dry some tomato slices. We're going to dry 2 trays of tomato slices. There we go, our salt's gone down. And we have 2 tomato slices. We'll pop those in the fire. And we'll add some more fuel. And we'll light the fire. So one thing I should mention about fire placement. When you place a campfire, you must always place the campfire outside. So never inside a house. If you do that, then you will set the house on fire. It doesn't matter if it's in a warehouse, if it's in a player-made structure. If there is another surface directly above that fire, then then it will light up, and you'll end up burning your house down and killing yourself. There we go. So what we're going to do is continually keep adding sheets. Because, as I said, the rip sheets don't make the fire last very long. We have hundreds of them though, so I'm just going to keep adding them. As you can see, just keep adding more sheets. That'll keep the fire going, and occasionally we click on the fire and we scroll down. You can see how the skull has been removed from next to the water containers. That means the water's been boiled enough where it won't kill us now if we drink it. You can see the fire is the sheets keep the fire going, but only just. The food that we're cooking has a little progress bar down the bottom telling you how far it's cooked. So you can see our tomato slices nearly cooked. Our hash browns are nearly cooked. Our stir fry is nearly cooked. Sorry, I'm going to add some more sheets to keep this going. And finally, our stir fry is nearly cooked. So you just need to keep an eye on that progress bar. Just keep chucking rib sheets into the fire. We're going to have to go out and get some more. I burnt over 200 rib sheets. Just trying to, just in cooking food and boiling water. I'm not going to run out anytime soon. You can see this is, now when it's full, do you see how it now says that it's burning? We need to get that out of the fire. Same with our stir fry, out of the fire. And our hash browns out of the fire. So you really, and we go in our vegetable stew as well. And our tomato slices. So when the food finishes, when that status bar completely fills, it'll say that the food is burning. If we let the food burn too long, it'll go to the status of burnt. And then if we eat the food, we can get very sick. So yeah, we don't want to be doing that. Right click on the tomato slices and you'll empty out your tray. Just going to go back to our fire, and finally you can see here we have boiled water ready to drink. We have pots of water ready to drink. Obviously I've collected several water containers and I suggest that you always do this. We have our bags of tomatoes which are now preserved, and we have some hash browns. So to make a hash brown, this is from the Hydrocraft mod, you need a knife, you need a potato, you need the potato masher and a potato peeler. See, potato masher, potato peeler, you'll find those in any kitchen, all of these items, very common. Right click on any of the items such as the potato peeler and you'll prepare hash browns. Okay, and you can also, the last thing that you can do as cooking is prepare flour. So you can make flour out of potatoes. At the moment there's not too many uses for potato flour in the Hydrocraft mod, but it's the exact same process as making the tomatoes. You right click on the baking tray and you'll have the option to prepare potato flour, and you'll make a tray of flour and then you just cook that. It's exactly the same process as tomatoes. So that's a guide on cooking. The last thing I'll mention is that you can kill animals and cook them. It's the exact same process as cooking the potatoes. You just simply go to any animal, right click on the animal, and you'll have the option to kill it. When you kill the animal, you'll create an animal carcass. I'll see if I have a spare animal and I can show you. That will do. We're going to need to feed this animal, and we'll do that with cabbages. So when you get a baby animal, and we'll go over this in future episodes, but you need to grow the animal, basically feed the animal until it becomes an adult. So this baby, obviously we can't kill a baby goat. You can see it has a status bar there. You right click on the baby goat and you'll have the option to feed it. So to feed a goat, the different animals like different food, but it's a safe bet that most of the animals will eat cabbages, tomatoes and carrots. So always have those in your inventory. The food can be rotten, they will still eat rotten food. So we have all these rotten cabbages. You also need to have water in your inventory, so I've got a watering can, and we're using the tainted water. Tainted water does not kill animals. So right click on the watering can and you'll use the watering can. We'll feed the baby goat and we'll feed him lots of our rotten cabbage. So now we have a full grown goat. Right click on the goat and you can kill them. Kill goat. And we have a dead goat. Now to cut up the goat, You need a knife. We've already got a kitchen knife to skin the goat. And you need a meat cleaver. Now, I don't know if using the same meat cleaver that you used to kill the zombies is going to get you infected, but I've never taken the chance. So we right click on the animal with a knife in our inventory, and you have the option to skin it. We're skinning the animal. And we have, from skinning the animal, we get a goat hide, or hide of whatever animal you've got, and an animal carcass. Goat carcass. Now obviously it's uncooked, and we want to chop that animal up into bones, into meat chunks. Right click on the carcass with a meat cleaver in your inventory. You'll get the option to butcher. We butcher the carcass now. We'll get 2 or 3 pieces of meat. Now when you butcher an animal, you get the following. You get the skeleton of the animal. You get the intestines from the animal. You get some lard, and you get some meat. So you can use the intestines to make sausages if you have read the sausage making book. If you have a sausage machine, which I think we've got, it makes a grinder. I hope we've got it. I don't think we've got it. That's a shame. We don't. So you have 2 options when you get meat, apart from sausage making. Unfortunately, I don't have the requisite device, which is a meat grinder, to grind that into sausage mince. And we use the intestines. We feed you into the intestines to make the animal, to make the sausages. But we have 3 pieces of mutton here. We have 2 options. We can either salt the mutton, and to salt the mutton you need a bag of curing salt. Again, all of this gear found in kitchens. Curing salt, you got a bag here. The curing salt can be refilled. I don't have a lot of it, so we're not going to be salting these, and really we want to be eating these now. So, and this really is a cooking tutorial, so if you right clicked on the meat, it would preserve it. We're going to go with option 2. We're going to cook this meat, so we're going to put this meat into the fire. We're going to grab some shoes. So shoes are off zombies again. They're just a burning material. We're going to burn their shoes, keep the fire going. Right click on the fire, and you'll have the option to add fuel for shoes. We'll chuck some shoes in the fire. And again, notch, plank and sturdy stick, you light the fire. This will cook the raw meat and make it suitable for us to eat. Now, lighting the fire with the notch, plank and stick doesn't always work. So you may need to attempt this more than once, which is what we're going to do. If you attempt it too many times and you get really tired, your character won't be able to light the fire. And that doesn't matter, because we can, in that instance, we'd just be using a cigarette lighter. There we go, we've successfully lit the fire, and we're going to start adding fuel straight away. Some extra shoes. Shoes burn really well, for whatever reason. So, when you've established a base, if you've been watching my first episode, you'll have an idea of where and when to establish a base. You go to the surrounding area, kill the zombies, and strip them of their shoes, which is what I've done in an earlier episode. Between episodes, I went and grabbed a lot of shoes, and they don't really have much of a use at this moment, so we just burn them. It's a lot better than burning the sticks, or burning logs or planks, because it's troublesome to cut down planks, and it does cut into the durability of your saw. And we have plenty of rip sheets we can use. We just keep right clicking and feeding more into the fire. You can also strip dead zombies and take their clothes rather than tearing them into sheets, and you can just throw the actual clothes onto the fire. But that's being lazy, because you can really just add as many rip sheets as you need to keep the fire going for however long you want it going for. And that is now cooked. So we right click on our fire and turn it off. Put out fire. And that's it for our tutorial. We've cooked some food. We've gone over the different types of food that you can make. And we've gone over creating a fire and using the fire. Hopefully you found this useful. Obviously this isn't necessarily a Hydrocraft tutorial. Most of this is standard Project Zomboid (101). So we've got all our food items. The last thing that I'm going to mention is with soup. You can right click the soup or stew, and if you have bowls in your inventory, you don't have to drink the soup straight from the tin, or from the pot. You can make bowls of stew. So we've got 2 bowls in our inventory, and we're going to make 2 bowls of stew. And bam, we're done. You get 2 bowls of stew, fresh cooked, with a nice hunger bonus, and an empty pot. And that pot's ready to go. We'll fill it back up again like this. Beautiful. And we'll pop that in the fire. The next time we start running low on water, I always keep my water pots in the fire so that when we're cooking, we're also purging our water and keeping it clean. When water gets low, I'll just simply turn the fire on, boil a heap of it, grab some out, like watch what we're doing now, and fill my water container so that I've got plenty of water. And there we go, pour into canteen. Done. So hopefully you found this useful. This is, as I said, it's not technically a Hydrocraft tutorial, apart from the tutorial on preserving food, which was added by Hydrocraft. It is useful though, and I've always found that I had trouble with cooking. There's not a lot of good tutorials on it. So until next episode, when we will be looking at advanced weapon crafting. So I'm going to get my mine to level 6, and then we're going to make some weapons. Swords, axes, maces, and hopefully some shells and bullets. If you like this series, please subscribe. I'm also taking suggestions for the next tutorial or the next subject. We're going to go over hopefully more Hydrocraft content, such as getting the animals that you see around here, and also advanced crafting such as smelters, mines, blast furnaces, and all the advanced buildings in the Hydrocraft mod. Most of these I haven't built myself, so it's going to be a learning experience for me too. Drop your suggestions in the box, and please subscribe to keep the series going.